Welcome back, everybody. This video is going to focus on linear perspective, and we will be drawing this box in 1-point perspective, and that's the way it's presented to it's presenting itself to us. We'll be using the techniques of measuring as well as sighting angles and then transferring those to our picture plane on our drawing paper. So a couple of things I wanted to cover before we get started was this idea that there's this picture plane in front of us. It's a sheet of glass, and a lot of textbooks and websites describe it as being out at arm's length. So as I extend my arm out here past the camera, this is the ending distance with my arm, there's a sheet of glass there, imaginary. And so when we measure, we're using our thumb and the pencil tip to measure different lengths and widths, but it's only best in terms of consistency to measure on the vertical axis or measuring on the horizontal axis. So what you don't want to do, and this will get you into trouble, is to measure on an angle. Okay? The problem with this is that it means now you're tipping your pencil into or past through the picture plane, and then things start to get a little hinky. And then when you go to transfer that to your drawing, a lot of times those measurements will be way off, especially if you start doing things very inconsistently. So, at arm's length, when measuring, measure only on the vertical or the horizontal. Now when you go to sight angles out at arm's length, you don't want to tip the pencil forward on these angles. You want to tip the pencil either to the left or the right. So here I'm going to the left to find those angles. So it's the same thing. Again, pretend that there's a sheet of glass here that prevents you from tipping that pencil forward. Okay? And then I'm going to pan out. And when I pan out, you'll notice that there's a piece of tape up here, and that incidentally is at my eyes level. And depending on how much you've read into linear perspective, what you'll know or what you'll find out is that your horizon line is at your eye level. So in my standing position, if I bring my two pencils out at arm's length and I tip them together along those angles of the box, you'll notice that they converge together pretty much at that blue piece of tape. So that confirms that these angles have a certain degree based on this idea of my point of view at the standing level and my horizon line at that eye level. Okay? Alright, so we've talked about that. So let's pan back towards this and let's begin the drawing. So the first part of this drawing, and it's kind of covered in one of my other videos where we're drawing just a sheet of square paper, and we basically just draw the top of the box. Okay? So let's do that first, and by doing that with the measurements, we'll establish a proportion or a ratio. So I extend my pencil out at arm's length, and then I put my pencil tip at the back edge of the box, and I bring my thumb up to the front edge of the box. This is only measuring the top of the box. So from this distance, I get that measurement. And then I compare that to the width. So I get, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. I get about 1 to 4. Okay? So now I come to my picture plane here on my drawing, and I have established already an arbitrary mark right there. And I'm basically going to convert the 1, that, to half the length of my pencil. Okay, so I'm scaling up this drawing. So with that in mind, I put my thumb here at the mark, and then I tip my pencil forward to make that. So this point to this point indicates from the front edge to the back edge of the box. All right? And then coming back here, so here's the 2 points. So this is the 1, and then I need to do 4 for the front edge. So to do that, finding the halfway point again of my pencil, I do 1 and 2, and then I do 1 and 2. So there's my 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1 to 4. And then just ever so carefully, using just a sketch line. I don't want to use tools, it's just a drawing class. So here's the front edge of the top of the box. There we go. And then here's the back edge. Now, I don't know how long this is yet, and the quickest way I can find out how long this is finding the 2 angles. So let's do that. So let's pan back over here. I'm just going to do this with just one pencil. So I bring this pencil up at arm's length, and I tip that pencil along the right edge, and then retaining my arm's length, I bring that over to my drawing. And I bring the angle over here to the corner, or the end of the line, dip my pencil forward. So I have a point here and a point here, and I stroke a sketch line between those 2 points. And then I'm going to return to my picture plane and do that on the other side. So tipping my pencil to the right now, getting that angle. Returning to my drawing. Here's that point and this point, stroke a line through it. And then I've got the 2 angles to the top of my box, okay? So I know this next part will seem silly, but it is what it is. I bring my pencil up and I lay it on the back edge of the box, and it's a horizontal line or angle. Bring that over here to my back mark. I have 2 points, and I just run my sketch line through those 2 points. Alright, so now I've established the top of my box. Okay, so let's return to the picture plane here that's in front of us at arm's length, and now we're going to measure, we're going to compare. So if we take this measurement of the top of the box, the length of it, and we're going to now compare that to the height of the box. So we bring this down to the height of the box, and I've got 1 and maybe a half. So with that information, I come back over here, and remember, a full 1, we made the half length of the pencil. So let's do that first. So I bring it to the corner and I do 1, and then I find the halfway point between that. That's about there, and I apply that. Okay, and so this gives me the length of the front face of my box. And again, that's from this corner to that corner. So we're just utilizing the proportions here and then using like measurements to find relationships throughout the box to complete it. Alright, and I'm going to use the same measurements over here. Okay? Let me just grab those real quick. So there's that one here. And let me just keeping things consistent. Okay. So then what I can do is I pan back to my still life and I look at that. I know that this box is sitting on a flat surface, so this vertical corner should be straight up and down. And then when I come to my drawing, I can do that. And then if I'm unsure, I can also reference the edge of my paper too as another true vertical. Okay? I can do it on the left or the right side. Okay? So let me put these true verticals in. And I bring the line straight down to the mark. And I do the same thing over here. Vertical. Okay. So there is the front face of the box. Now, this is pretty much, I think we know what it's going to be. It's going to be pretty much that, but we can check it. So we bring our pencil up, arm's length, laying on the bottom part of the box. Sure enough, it's a horizontal line. And we bring it over here. And then we just, best we can, through practice, you can get your sketch lines to be pretty straight. And there, let me pan out. There's the drawing of our box compared to there. Now, what's interesting is sometimes these will look a little bit bigger or smaller, but you measured it, and so it's a version of what you've recorded from over there in the still life. So what you can do is, there's a couple of things. If you feel like this doesn't look right, what you can do is you can start taking at arm's length your angles and start proofing them. So that angle is spot on. Then I just check that one. That one's spot on. And then verticals, checking your verticals. So, you can go back and forth and compare and contrast. And if there's something still amiss, this is where you're kind of proofing the drawing and getting it to look based on this to that. Okay? All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching. I hope that now seeing measuring, scaling up, and then sighting angles using your pencil as a tool, not only are you drawing this, but you're also using it to measure and then sight angles as well. So kind of a real handy, pencil. All right. Thanks for watching. Take care.